Welcome to the Next Level Life podcast with Christine Corcoran. This podcast is made for the powerhouse businesswomen who are ready to ignite their fullest potential. This is where we will dive deep into the mindset breakthroughs and sprinkle in some kick up the butt motivation so you can scale your business with confidence and clarity. Whether you're craving more income, impact, or inspiration, this podcast will be your ultimate resource for all things next level. Listen in as we have authentic conversations with game-changing female entrepreneurs as we reveal the secrets on what it takes to rise and thrive. So go ahead, ignite your inner fire, and let's get you taking massive aligned action. Are you ready to elevate? Let's go. I recently had a conversation with a beautiful woman in business. And one of the things she said that I'm sure will resonate with you or with a lot of you is, I'm working harder than ever and I feel like I'm making less. Why does everything feel so much harder right now? And I said to her what I'm going to say to you. There are two elements here. One, the meaning that you're placing on hard work and what it takes. So sometimes it's actually the mindset that you're placing on it that's causing you to feel like it's harder. Secondly, whenever you feel like this, I always do an audit. It's time to do an audit of where you're spending your time to make sure that you're spending your time on needle moving activities. If you're not spending time on needle moving activities, so that could be sales activities, marketing activities, visibility activities, or growth activities where you need to create growth and progress, then of course it feels so much harder. And I recently did this with a client of mine and we went through and we audited where is she currently spending her time, where is she getting the best results, where is she getting lackluster results. And we looked at her action steps versus her results, and she was getting results in the places she was spending her time, which I know seems like the simplest of things to say, but sometimes we get stuck, we get overshadowed by all the things we need to do in our to-do list and on all the things that we need to deliver on for our clients. Like, we can be really sometimes challenge you to take a bird's eye view and be like, okay, where am I spending my time right now? And I guarantee you, when you do that audit on yourself and on your business, you'll realize that you are actually making progress, but most likely in the direction that you're spending time in. So if you're not making progress in the areas you want to be making progress, it's time to do that audit on yourself and look at, okay, where are the action steps that I'm taking? What kind of action am I taking is the next piece, right? So you do that audit and look at where the results are coming from and what action steps you're taking to get those results. Now, if those results you're not happy with, then what needs to change is the type of action or the amount that you're doing. So I don't mean you're going to have to work harder. I mean, you may need to take bigger steps. There's a difference, right? Because a lot of the time, it's the same amount of energy for different behaviors, same amount of energy, but the meaning you place on it creates the feeling of hard. So if it takes the same amount of energy to do a step that will get you 10 times further along versus 2 times, why wouldn't you do the 10 times? And the answer is always fear. It's always fear. I'm not ready for that. I don't have anything prepped for that. I don't think I could do that. What if I get laughed at? What if I get rejected? What if this blah, blah, blah? All the fear-based stuff, right? I get it. We all experience those fear-based thought patterns that cause us to go back to the mediocre action that we've been taking all along. Now, the reason why that may feel harder or may feel like you're actually making less for the amount of work you've been putting in previously is because the market has changed. The business space has changed, right? So we need to reevaluate what action you are taking and where you're creating expectations on that action, thinking that it will give you better results or results that you were expecting from 2023 or 2020, right? So as much as that feels really hard to adjust to or to come to terms with, when we do that, it allows us to make more effective decisions of where we're spending our time and our energy. I did this actually with a client about 2 months ago, and I remember we figured out that she actually had stopped spending any time doing visibility activity. So she was very much still selling to her existing audience, and she'd stopped doing things like podcast interviews. She'd stopped creating trial reels, and she'd stopped basically putting herself into new circles of people. And so then the sales had slowed down, and she was like, I'm selling just as much as I used to be. And I was like, yeah, but you haven't been bringing in any new audience. And so once she then got back to doing some of the visibility activities, then the sales started to flow. But that took time, because sometimes it takes a good 90 days for someone to come in cold, completely not know who you are at all, to then get ready to buy and then buy. So we need to, and that's why we need to be doing all the things all the time, right? Which I know can feel a little bit overwhelming, but we want to just identify, like, where is your time best spent, and where are you attracting new clients, and where are you attracting new audience, and how are you converting those? Another client of mine, I remember doing a little bit of a review on hers, and she'd actually stopped selling. She'd had a couple of hard months and she found that she was a little bit like burnt out from the rejection. And so she'd stop launching. She'd stop actually doing the things that were working in the past because it had felt really hard. And then sales dropped completely. And she was like, what the hell? What's going on? And it was because she'd stopped doing the things that were actually working. So what we need to do is go back and look at that and go, which ones does she want to continue to do? And how can we make it easier? And I say that in air quotes. How can we adjust the way that she was doing it so then she could still do the sales activities, but without actually having to burn herself out? So we looked at that and go, well, she could still do these parts of the sales activity and then have this part done by someone else. And that was then helpful for her to then put that back into practice. And then sales started to fly in. So honestly, do the audit on yourself. You need to look at where you're spending your time, you need to look at the type of action that you're taking, and need to then go, okay, am I actually taking mediocre action versus next level action and expecting next level results from mediocre action? Because often the time that's what's happening. And lastly, if you feel like you're earning less than what you used to, then it might be time to adjust your pricing. It might be time to actually question the types of clients that you're allowing into your business and ask yourself, am I attracting the right level of client, or am I shrinking myself to try and fit a lower level client? I'm going to leave you with that. Enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you for listening, and if you've found any value out of this episode, make sure you hit the follow button so you get access to the episodes as soon as they are live, and make sure you come hang out with me on Instagram. You can find me at ChristineCorcoran_coach. Have an incredible week.